Okay, mates. So this is more of an off-the-cuff conversation, I suppose. Um, just want to give my opinion regarding the Navalny thing and then the NATO conflict and that kind of nonsense. So I just want to give you a quick summary of what I'm thinking. Um, Simply put, regarding the termination of political opposition, well, of course I am very disturbed by it, but it wasn't really unexpected, naturally. Furthermore, I don't see the relevance of trying to pin it on a particular candidate for the American presidency, because that's plainly stupid. It's just nothing more than an attempt of pinning anything that goes wrong on the, well, your Antichrist figure. It's basically saying the old meme of you dip a cookie into a glass of milk and then your cookie breaks and you thank Obama for it. That's essentially the figure that Donald Trump has become to the left. So you get Navalny being murdered and Trump is being blamed for it. Why? I don't know. Probably a bunch of schizoid fuckers that are thinking it's a good idea. Problem is, if you blame one person for every single thing that goes wrong, guess what's gonna happen? People don't really give a crap anymore about what you say of him. And we've reached that point. Well, I reached that point like 10 years ago, but whatever, right? Regarding Navalny, well, it's pretty obvious that he was murdered, and there goes the monetization. Not that they ever had it. So, obviously, he was terminated, just like a similar fashion, I suppose, to what it was with William McKinley or James Garfield. Something like that. It's what I expect to happen. He's definitely not going to get his body repatriated to his family. Probably has already been incinerated. After all, he was sentenced to a gulag, so they need the heat. Um, Regarding the comparisons, so the way that Navalny has been treated by Putin is essentially just one step above the way that Biden is treating Trump. And I know it's a real stupid thing to basically, as a form of a TDS syndrome, to always compare something to what's happening in America. But then again, this is a channel focused on America, and I don't really give a shit about anything that goes on across the Atlantic Ocean. I may cover a few stories here and there if I think they're funny or if I think they are essential for the people in that particular region to know of. Then again, who gives a shit what they think about? They're a bunch of spineless cowards anyway. So, um, I already covered in an earlier video today that Trump was getting a fine of about $350 million. Completely unreasonable, of course. Now, it's obviously going to go to an appeal, and there's not really anything that would entail a change of course in the state of New York nor in Washington. So, obviously, what's going to happen next if Trump persists with his path, he's going to get the same treaty as Navalny, obviously. Now, Alexei Navalny was more of a nationalist figure, so he was definitely going against the New World Order. He was definitely trying to empower local businesses. Definitely more of an ethnic Russian defender instead of the global homo bullshit that Putin is doing. So definitely he was more of a Trump-like figure, which is why I find it ironic that the left is celebrating Navalny but hating on Trump. I think that's funny. Um, then you have the NATO stuff. And the NATO stuff is really hilarious because people are complaining about Trump effectively saying, hey, you need to pay more. Now that's funny because last time I checked, if all member states are paying more in defensive spending, it means it's more difficult for Russia to win. That's literally what logic would dictate. Now, the political left, of course, they would be incredibly offended by the notion of being forced to pay for your shit. So I can understand that they're upset with Donald Trump. Now, the entirety of the political establishment in Europe, they're basically socialists, and they've been living a decadent lifestyle of the US taxpayer dollar. So them being forced to pay more money is an insult to them, and that's the reason why they're upset. Now, when Donald Trump goes ahead and says, hey, you idiots need to at least cover your 2% share, that is that is a part. The big ask is if you don't do it, well, we won't defend you. Of course, that's not going to happen. There's going to be a defense treaty. That's what it's for. And the big ask in this case is just cover your 2%. Now, the way I would do it is a little different. I would say if you don't have your 2% share, if you miss it one quarter in a decade, you're out. You miss it once, you're gone. And there's no second chances, no apologies, no compensation for it in the next quarter. No, you're just out. No delinquency payments. Done. In the case of Sweden and Finland, I would simply say, okay, you can join, but you pay retroactively back as well. You have enjoyed, since 1945, defense spending on US dime against the Soviet Union. And in the case of Finland, you have enjoyed Nazi defense funds. And in the case of Sweden, well, you actively aided the Nazis when it came to traversing their soldiers into Norway and Finland. So, for that cardinal sin, I would say, they need to pay reparation for that. When it comes to Ukraine, I simply say the following: I don't care anymore. They've had such large quantity of funds, they should be on their own at the moment. It's too bad, but there are too many people starving over on this side of the Atlantic. They need to be fed. They need to get homes. Luckily, the winter is almost over, but they still need help, including veterans. We have plenty of other issues to take care of. So that's essentially what I'm thinking about regarding the NATO trash. We definitely could do with a lot less in military spending. That's for sure. And we don't need 1,000 military bases surrounding Russia. We don't need that either. I think that the biggest mistake we made was not to have Russia as a part of it, as a part of NATO, when they formally asked to join in 1989 and in 1991. And then we had the rapprochement with the Partnership for Peace regarding Yugoslavia, and then Bill Clinton just squandered it in 1993 and 1994. That's the position. We're in this trouble because, of course, the arrogance of the military establishment. They said we won the Cold War and therefore we don't need to consider anything that happens for anyone else in the world. And that hubris is now crashing down upon us. And we deserve it. Thank you kindly for watching. Enjoy your day. See you next time. Cheers.